The Metroidvania genre has produced some of video games' most critically acclaimed and beloved titles. With more titles being developed yearly, Metroidvania games are the darling of the indie world. These classic games often incorporate deep world building, open exploration, tough boss fights, and abilities that allow the player to progress further into the game. When it comes to great leading characters, Metroidvania games are filled with them. Some of the main protagonists in the genre have become icons of gaming, while many are unique and sometimes bizarre creations that fans have grown to love. What's going on, everyone? Jeffrey here, welcome to Game Rant. Diving into a Metroidvania game can be one of the most rewarding experiences gamers can have, and controlling these memorable characters will keep players coming back for more. Number 10. Akhlan, Grime. Grime takes players to a bleak and bizarre alien world of strange creatures and tough boss fights. It is one of the most unique-looking Metroidvanias on the market, with the player controlling Akhlan, also known as the Vessel. Akhlan is a powerful being who is humanoid in appearance, except for its head, which appears to be a small black hole that can parry attacks. The game is a surrealist nightmare, offering a dark and dangerous world for gamers to explore. As the Vessel delves deeper into the game, players will find various abilities, weapons, and armor for Akhlan to use and wear, allowing for different playstyles. Grime is a solid Metroidvania that will give fans a decent challenge, but it is the Vessel itself that stands out as a protagonist like no other in gaming. Number 9. Lily, Ender Lily's Quietus of the Nights. Ender Lily's Quietus of the Nights is an underrated Metroidvania that may not be the toughest in the genre, but offers fantastic gameplay and a host of memorable characters. The unique twist in Ender Lily's is the main character does not fight. Players can actually choose from a selection of spirits that defend Lily throughout the game. Lily is depicted as a young girl dressed in all white who is the last surviving priestess in a corrupted world. The character can purify the corruption that is spreading in the land, recruiting spirits to help her as she goes. The game world is bleak, with rain constantly falling and dangerous creatures lurking in the dark. Lily stands out as an image of purity against the darkness, working as a perfect counterbalance in tone. Number 8. Trace Eschenbrenner, Axiom Verge. This indie Metroidvania offers players a stunning game world to explore and an immersive sci-fi story to enjoy. Players take control of Trace, a scientist who is knocked unconscious after a lab accident and wakes up in a strange alien world. The game is presented in a classic pixel style, which gives the game a heavy dose of nostalgia. Trace isn't the standard warrior protagonist seen in most games. The character is a scientist who values life and knowledge. This is represented in the game with the character going through moral arguments, questioning his violent acts. Axiom Verge offers gamers a classic pixel experience with a lead character who is the perfect counter to the violent high-tech world he finds himself in. Number 7. The Prisoner, Dead Cells. Set on a mysterious island, Dead Cells is a roguelite Metroidvania where players control an immortal known as the Prisoner. The unique twist to this character is that only the prisoner's head is actually immortal. Players need to possess dead bodies to move through the game. Once a player dies, the character needs to find a new body to progress. Dead Cells blends Metroidvania-style gaming with roguelite mechanics and procedurally generated levels. The Prisoner is a character like no other and embodies the essence of both game genres used in Dead Cells. Fans of indie gaming will love this challenging and enticing title with a truly memorable protagonist. Number 6. The Penitent One, Blasphemous. A modern classic, Blasphemous is influenced by the work of classical painter Francisco Goya and religious iconography. Players control the Penitent One, a silent, sword-wielding knight who's on a religious pilgrimage. Throughout the game, the Penitent One meets a whole host of strange and dangerous characters on his journey and faces off against a host of tough bosses. The main character has a striking appearance, with a large pointed helmet adorned with metal thorns. The religious imagery of the game, mixed with the now iconic helmet, has created a classic Metroidvania character that stands as one of the most memorable in the genre. Number 5. Quote, Cave Story. Developed by a single person, Cave Story was an indie success story and would go on to have a significant influence on the gaming industry. Players control a robot named Quote, who has had his memory erased. The goal of the game is to explore the mysterious cave and defeat the Doctor, who is terrorizing the local inhabitants. Quote is a silent hero that is very reminiscent of other anime-styled characters and brings a unique look to the Metroidvania genre. His boyish appearance gives the character a childlike quality, while his actions show he is a determined and protective character. Cave Story was largely responsible for the renewed interest in Metroidvania games. Number 4. Ori and the Blind Forest. Ori and the Blind Forest is a beautiful and emotional game that has become a classic in the genre. Highly influenced by the movies of Studio Ghibli, players control the incredibly cute Ori, a guardian spirit who is left to fend for itself after its adopted parent dies in a devastating event. Ori is an agile and fast character that relies more on defensive abilities than outright attacks. The game has some complex platforming sequences and puzzles that will test players' skills. Ori and the Blind Forest has become a gaming classic, with its protagonist becoming beloved by its fans. Number 3. The Knight, Hollow Knight. Of all the modern Metroidvania games out there, Hollow Knight stands at the top. Although the game certainly didn't create the genre, it definitely has perfected it, with many subsequent games taking influence from its style and gameplay. In Hollow Knight, players control, of course, the Knight, a silent and mysterious character whose backstory is revealed throughout the course of the game. The character may be small and rather cute, but he is also a strong and skilled warrior who shows unyielding determination against superior foes. The Knight has become a classic and an icon of Metroidvanias. Hollow Knight represents everything great about indie gaming and Metroidvanias overall. Number 2. Alucard, Castlevania. The long-running Castlevania series has had a significant influence on gaming, to say the very least. Of all the titles in the series, Symphony of the Night is one of the most critically acclaimed. In the game, players control Alucard, the half-vampire offspring of Dracula, who returns as the protagonist from the third game. Symphony of the Night was a defining moment that partly created the Metroidvania genre. Alucard became maybe the most iconic of the series' protagonists. With his dashing good looks and warrior spirit, the character fights to take down his famous vampire father. He is often considered one of the greatest heroes in video game history. Number 1. Samus Aran, Metroid. Metroid, along with the previous entry, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, is a game that defined the Metroidvania genre. A later entry, Super Metroid, is often considered one of the greatest games of all time, with critics praising its atmosphere and gameplay. Set on the planet Zebes, Super Metroid follows series hero Samus Aran as she searches for a stolen Metroid taken by pirates. Samus is a video game icon, depicted as a power-armored super soldier. The genetically enhanced character is one of video games' strongest female characters and is loved by fans of the genre. The series has become a classic franchise that is still going strong, with the recent release of Metroid Dread and the remaster of Metroid Prime. And there we have it, everyone, the 10 most iconic Metroidvania protagonists. Thank you so much for watching this video from Game Rant. Be sure to check out all sorts of other top-notch gaming content, including more lists, news, reviews, guides, originals, and so much more right here on Game Rant. Have a truly wonderful and happy day, everyone. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.